Yo, BeatiDudes, welcome to a very special episode. What would you call this episode, Paul?
A super bonus.
What about you, Nick?
Super duper duper bonus.
You're so creative.
Why would you just say super? You're so silly.
Yeah, he gets away with super like that's somehow special. Yeah. Well, this is special. In fact, we've never done this before because this is happening right now.
That is how new things
This
work.
is the first time right now has happened. Truly.
We had an awesome Monday episode with Alessandro DeSanto from Hallow, and that episode was like a one-episode power punch. Punch. Yeah. Okay, but that left us with an opening for Friday, and we said, what is a better way to use an opening than openings?
Couldn't come up with one.
Yeah.
Just use them.
So we used all, or almost.
Season 1, Season 2, montage of openings. And if you have ever watched this show before, which, why are you watching this one if you've never watched it before? Because somebody made you like, subscribe, and
share.
Yep. And so what we did is every one of our episodes, we pluck out part of the show. Usually it's something outlandish or funny or clever or
bananas.
Goofy, wild.
Yeah.
Insane.
It's usually when it's going off like a frog in a sock.
Yes.
Which I said to a bishop from Sydney, Australia, and he said that's not a thing. So I feel like we've been set up by the Australians.
We've been set up
Mr. Doyle.
But when I said I know Mr. Doyle and I said I know Mr. Ryle, and he goes, "Oh, I've known them for donkeys." And I'm like, "What is that?" And he said it means for a long time. Okay. But anyways, we also have some of them that are outrageously serious, like the stuff that grips at you about the Shroud of Turin or about somebody's battle to live. So what you're about to watch is roughly 22 minutes of, I don't even know how to describe this, the true glimpse into a roller coaster. And I promise, for the three of us, for our family and friends, for longtime subscribers, you're going to hear an opening and be like, I have to go back and watch that episode. Mm-hmm. And so buckle up, buckaroos. BeatiDudes are going to blow you
away.
I love how you guys didn't want me to make fun of you, and the first thing you bring up is your own stupidity.
Your nomenclature is on the precipice of amazing, Nick.
How did that creative spirit come out in you? Was it something from your brother, your family? Like, where does that come from?
You ever met a homeschooled kid?
For they shall inherit the points. All right.
We're going with that one still.
A certain amount of points.
Yes.
Mount.
Random number.
They shall inherit a...
Inherent? It's intrinsic to their nature.
Okay.
Nice. The points become you.
Okay.
Years later, after I already knew you opened it, I'm flying on a plane reading the American Airlines, like, whatever it's called.
It was the
American Way.
Yep. It
and
was
it's
like they're like,
go to Dallas, go to Celestial, have this amazing beer, and I'm like, what did they do? How did they do this? Like, how did you get that spot?
we paid for it.
You know, in the community, we definitely had, you know, we would have time for, you know, meals, we would talk or some recreation together. And then
you ever like dunk on another monk and you're like,
dunk on a monk.
You've heard of Elf on a Shelf. Now it's time for Dunk on a Monk.
Let's do just a practice round. What is your favorite color?
Nick.
Blue.
Oh, what? Oh, sorry.
Blue?
Yeah.
Correct. Okay, so Nick would have got a point. Paul is now going to be paranoid. I think he got jabbed in the stomach.
No, I tickled him to make him the buzzer.
Yeah, I didn't tell you this, but before every episode we ask Paul, is there anywhere we can't like
touch
jab you?
So like I would be so scared because like I would have that feeling deep down, like, but every girl I was like, I'm going to marry this girl. So like, how did you know?
I'll tell you how I knew. This is just fun, but so she was part of she was part of something called Camp Shufflebine.
No. Dude, when you say you big timed her, you literally founded an organization, had her become part of that organization. You were like, I'm the president of this organization.
I can't wait for her to see this episode.
And you've been on a lot of podcasts. How anxious have you been about being on the BeatiDudes?
Not at all.
He's like, that's appropriate.
He's like, I am in no way intimidated by you
I
three.
just snorted. That's how bad that is. Brett, I feel like if I'm looking at the cover of your book here, your pro-life bottom line, and we see this graph and it's just going hockey stick. That's what's going to happen to our listeners now that you've been on the show.
That is a solid hockey stick sound effect. Well played.
You ever played hockey? Watch out.
We're down here in Texas. We don't know what that sounds like.
So it was a lot of giant family movie nights.
It was time spent with, in groups of friends or at each other's houses with the families around. And there's a lot to be said for that. But we were engaged just 2 years or 1 year after we graduated from high school. And
Wow.
Do you know what? On the first show, you talked about your dads, and you spoke about it that way about your own father and your father-in-law. But now that you tell this story, to be literally in the most formative parts of a young man's life, you're going through puberty right there with your father-in-law hanging out with you.
yeah, well, part of this too was it's not like she was my only friend.
Well, Father, I think that for this bonus episode, maybe what we could do, and we do know that there's people waiting on you to hear confessions down the streets. But you got to tell them you were with the Beatitudes.
Just 7,000.
Guys,
General absolution? No,
Hey,
never. I'm kidding.
if you showed up there and passed out Beatitude stickers and say,
I'll do it
this
for
is-
penance. Just at the end.
Go listen.
There you go.
Listen.
Go listen.
You're a penance, subscribe and listen to 3 episodes, like, comment, and share.
Yep. So got 2 kids. I almost said 3. 2 kids. I do
Why
have
would-
3.
Yes,
I do
go
have
on.
3. Almost 3. I have
It is
3, just
3.
not born.
Yeah, like that. What's the
Yeah.
best way to say that? We should
Yeah.
actually.
How do you?
We need to
If you have
invent.
the
I have
perfect
3
way-
children, and then they say, "Great, how old are they?" 3, 1.5,
And in utero.
-6, minus 6 months.
Yeah, I think that there's got to be a way to say this though, right? That somebody out there has the perfect words for this because it's actually a beautiful tribute. You do have 3
It is.
kids.
It is.
That's special,
yeah.
and you can't say 2 on Earth and 1 that's on Earth inside of a sack. Like
Jeff,
You can. You could say that.
you are a
I
poet.
wouldn't. You.
I was like, this is so legit. Now I get to wear one of my favorite saints on my legs. And I was like, this has got to be a
On my
thing.
legs.
Yes.
On my legs. Watch out. And so
we gotta work on your word choices.
now you're gonna start now.
Yeah,
I
let's.
would generally think feet when I'm talking about socks.
Yeah, nobody.
Just me.
Nobody.
Goes on the calves too.
There's like a sticky side to the sock. You just slap it on your leg. Like apply generously.
I mean, I'm not saying this to be funny. All 3 of us have tears in our eyes.
It's unbelievable.
You got any good stories?
Wow.
I'm crying. Chris, get on an airplane and come make the Beatitudes cry. I have Beatitudes. Nick has been calling me out lately because I asked people, we were with a couple last night that are 1 year into dating, and I go, have either one of you ever experienced love at first sight? And they both looked, and Nick goes, why do you do this to people?
These are people's lives, Jeff.
Yeah.
And you're just like trying to like pull the levers and twist the dials.
But
And
I was so entertained.
Well, yeah,
Nick.
you were.
you were loving
and that's
you
what
were
matters.
absolutely loving it.
No, he's a big fan of the social hand grenade.
Yes.
He loves
That's
tossing
a,
those
That's a
things.
great word for
He
it.
just wants to see what happens.
You know, we
Yeah.
actually had one called the Choosin'. We had to drop it because it was just too close.
Too close. Okay.
Yeah, they got started a little before the Choosin'. We're very big on just slightly tweaking things and making it our own.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Texan though, so CHOOSIN apostrophe. The
Choosin'. Yeah.
Choosing.
Howdy, Jesus. Shalom.
Next on the Catholic talk show radio thing, we're going to be talking about if you only have $1 to give, well, that's fine. Bless your heart, child. Bless your heart. If you give $1, give $1. 50 cents, 50 cents. It's fine. Just give, but only as much as you can. That's all I got.
That's awesome.
Don't
That's
say that's
more-
all I got.
That's more than you needed.
That's like the guy who had a walk-off grand slam and says,
That's all I got. I don't.
I tried
I
to
don't know.
get 5 runs in, but it was only a grand slam.
Hey, I'm a bad Catholic because just the other day
I went and I took communion, and I didn't even know what it was all about.
You turned into Brick Tamlin from Anchorman at the end there. I love lamp.
I fell out of my own chair.
It would be hard to fall out of somebody else's chair, Jeff.
I knew very few people in that room that day. I feel like I know most of them now. But I remember I was trying to connect with the crowd, if you will. I was trying to butter them up. And I reached this point where I could see a lot of staring faces. So I just said, not all of us can unbutton our shirt as far as Jason Duderman.
I was wearing it that day about like you're wearing yours now.
I learned this from you.
Sure you did.
I saw the success you were having, and I thought, what is different about that?
It's the buttons. It's gotta be the buttons. For every button down you unbutton, you go one rung higher on the ladder. On the corporate success ladder.
They don't have Slurpees at the 7-Elevens in Japan.
What? Is it,
believe it or not?
Why
Do
not?
they have restrooms?
I'm hoping so. I think they have bidets.
Slurpee wadoko desu ka? I'm just...
You're just making it up.
No.
And nobody can fact check you.
Where is the Slurpee? Is that what you
Yeah.
asked? Okay.
But here's what I'm having a problem with. We were friends when you walked in here, and I said, repeat after me, and you stared me down.
Because he knows you.
It's the trust.
It's like, yeah, I was like, dude, I really want to be caught on microphone, on a podcast, and immortalized on YouTube forever, repeating after Jeff.
We will not be constrained by the medium.
I think we pushed the envelope a little bit.
Yeah. Even if people can't see us pushing it.
Just, there's one right here, and you would only know that if you're on YouTube.
Yeah, so go to youtube.com. No.
Slash?
Yeah, /@_BeatiDudes.
.com.
No, I already said
already
That was not a joke.
Jeff,
I really wasn't
serious.
joking.
I know.
Jeff learned how to use the internet 2 days ago.
And the Beatitudes is one of those places where, ha ha, you're having so much fun, and then bang, we hit you with some just deep holiness or healing retreat or
Spiritual truth.
or
Direction that you didn't see coming.
or
Love.
a lot of people have been stopping me, Paul. And they're like, your show is awesome. I was laughing, and then man, Paul hit me with love.
I love to just bam, love. Before Jesus' ministry, Jesus specialized in Milwaukee tools. That's right, because he was a carpenter, and so he had to work on the wood, and really he was focused on the wood of the cross is what he was reflecting on the entire time he was building tables and all kinds of things. He used Milwaukee tools, and later he would Milwaukee on water.
Wow. And you know how to say Psalms in Hebrew, right? Like the word Psalms. I think I heard you say it on one of your talks.
Mismor.
Okay.
Mismor is the word for psalm in Hebrew.
Yeah, I remember watching one of your talks and I was like, wow, okay, he's just dropping Hebrew
Yeah,
words out there.
the Sefer Telachim is the book of sung praises. That's the name, the Jewish name for the psalms themselves.
Awesome.
But the word psalm is Mismor.
When he does that, I missed more than I got. Paul, I've been to a bunch of your shows, your improv shows, and one of the things that I love is when y'all do your mockery of America's Got Talent and people pull out things and they have to write songs. So I was just thinking about the song you must have danced to with your wife at your first song.
Yes, this was a beautiful song.
And I just wanted to just see if you could maybe recall some of the lyrics or even a little bit of the vibe that Will was able to lay down.
Yeah.
This song was by the band Biggest Loser.
Yep.
And of course they were playing A Near Occasion of Sin.
Well, it's been worth the wait. Spelled WEIGHT. And you went on first dates, but now the rest of your life is gonna be great because there's no more near occasions of sin.
You're also genius. You made it without dialogue, so therefore it can be in any language.
Yep. Submit it to international film festivals.
The violin is the same in Japanese as it is in French.
Right?
Well, my daddy taught me that.
It's a common saying. You can find those on shiplap boards at Hobby Lobby.
I have a shiplap thing for you. You know the people from, what do they call, Home Wrecker? What are they, not Home Wrecker, what is it called? The people in Waco, what are they called?
Magnolia Market?
Yeah.
Home Wrecker?
Yeah.
So close.
Very, very different.
Okay. Their names are...
Chip and Joanna Gaines.
Yeah, but I always called him Chiplap because of how many times I use shiplap. Okay, last question. Probably the hardest one to answer as a bishop, but why did you agree to come on the Beatitudes?
Because the Lord also found himself with, never mind.
I didn't come here.
We need it bad.
Wow. The reverse
sick.
The reverse roasting begins now.
Woo, all right. I think that's almost the conclusion of this show, Bishop.
I don't think we can top that.
No.
That was fantastic.
I didn't even finish my line of being with apostles and
Oh.
with disciples.
Yeah.
Well, there is a lot to be proud of here. The Beatitudes started in your diocese.
Yes.
Just to keep it-
Yes. I failed to. I was just about ready to say that.
No, we have to do a shameless
tip of the
shameless
tongue.
plug.
Tip of the tongue.
Do you know what? Like, I want to plant like things in your head that maybe someday it's going to slip in a homily and you're going to be like, those guys. Like, you could call it the book of Beatituderonomy.
Common mistake. The Pentateuch, yeah.
You could say that they were sent out dude by dude. There's like a lot of ways you could maybe incorporate us into a homily and just see what happens.
Okay.
Okay, for those not watching on YouTube, the bishop had a faraway look in his eyes. And he inched back from the microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the fact that they're not all the same kind of wine is also making it harder in its own way.
That's got more of like an earthiness to it.
That's where I got it. Planet Earth. Right?
Good.
Again.
Good. None of that moon wine for us.
Have you ever had dehydrated wine that they give to the space cadets or whatever they're called?
Astronauts.
Space cadets.
You wouldn't believe that we've only had sips of alcohol so far based on Jeff's interactions. Speaking of space cadet, Jeff's pointing at himself. Well, I was just going to ask, so you said that's most of the, like a high percentage is just mailed out, or do some happen in the office? Like, I guess what I'm asking is, where were the other drugs going?
Some of them walk out the door with the neighbors.
Oh, that's pretty good, Batman. Awesome.
I also like hockey.
Oh my Jeff, no. Jeff. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
I'm not even going to say anything.
Yeah.
Gonna let that be.
Yeah. Let's just let that sit.
Hey, I was trying to do the slapstick. What do they call it? Slap shot.
Yeah, slapstick.
But we're not wearing hockey pants.
Slapstick was about right.
I whiffed it.
You a pirate?
And we're driving to church, and she sees one get off the highway, and she goes, "Oh, look, another transit." And I start hitting the gas, and she goes, "What are you doing?" She goes, "You're going to catch up to that Ford Transit." And I said, "Babe, it's somebody we could probably be friends with. We should go and meet them." And on the road to Mass, I pull up and I stop at a light, and I look, and Rob is doing a yeah in a bright red van.
Because you have the Scheffel Bus sticker on the back. I saw this, like, oh, it's Scheffel Bus. I know them.
I know that bus.
I know that bus.
So the thing that would necessitate owning buses is what in your life?
Baby number 7 is due in next month, I guess. So
Yeah, about
we've
a
got
month after
7
the show.
children. And I think the same week yours is due.
Do you want to race?
I'm sure our wives would really, really appreciate that.
But he also likes to be called Yoel Stepanik.
That's a very Russian name.
I can
don't
picture
know.
you with those
Yoel
wooden shoes.
Stepanik.
Yeah, you're running around in those Krogs or whatever they're called.
That is not it.
Yeah.
What is a grog?
100%.
Wooden
The
clogs.
Clog.
And that's
Look what I
that's
just did.
Holland.
I brought the three of you together in a special moment. You're welcome.
Boop. Take 2. All right, let's do this again.
Those
No.
Russian Krogs.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So close.
Joel.
And that's how the Beatitudes started an international incident.
Yes, probably.
We offended the
Yeah,
Polish.
Vladimir Putin is like, you will not talk about our clogs that way.
They are Krogs.
They are clogs.
No, but okay.
You guys are very good at it.
What accent is that? Jeff has like one multinational accent that he does every time.
I didn't set out to find Jesus. He set out to find me.
Yeah.
And so as he did that, he did have a plan. And at a 22-year-old, I get a call from a father from school that says, "I got this dream about setting up a travel company, and we think you can do that. And you may not believe in yourself, but we do." And so I got that opportunity just to set up my own business and fake it till you make it. Is that a
That's
okay?
that one. Oh, yeah.
That
America invented that.
You're sitting at it.
I wondered why I felt so comfortable here. You know?
Yeah.
That way nobody looks dumb alone.
Yeah, that's right. Put
yeah.
us to shame collectively.
Yeah. I'm actually writing a Christmas movie called Dumb Alone.
Weirdly, I was thinking that, and then you beat me to it.
It's just me at home.
Setting up traps for nobody.
For yourself in the middle of the night as a sleepwalker.
Somebody's in here. I just saw him in the mirror. Okay. So you think about all the people you blessed, but it's really neat when you think of the legiology or whatever it was called that you're creating. Legacy. What was the word you said?
Dynastic was the word he used.
Dynasty.
But I think we need to invent a whole branch of theology.
Legiology.
Yeah, legiology. It's the study of wine and how it makes legs.
The legs.
My knees are touching all three men at the table.
That's how you know you're in the right spot.
Ask yourself, how is the guest touching my knees? You got a long torso.
Hey, I'm reaching.
You
Jeff
got
over
long
there.
legs, Jeff.
Long torso.
No, that's the wrong part. Your torso's up.
Yeah.
John Michael
Oh, you
Long
got a
Torso
long-
Lucido.
But
That was my nickname in high school.
You meant
the lorso.
Nailed it.
The lower
lower
orso.
torso.
Not the top orso.
Lorso.
In a lot of ways, it's never been better to have Down syndrome than right now. And here's what I mean by that. There are so many resources available for kids with Down syndrome. But what's odd is that even though it's never been better to have Down syndrome, there's never been less people with Down syndrome than there is today. So in the United States, 75% of in utero diagnosis of Down syndrome is aborted. In the United States, 75%. Wow. In Europe, in a lot of the Scandinavian countries, that's up to 100%. So people have heard about Iceland and Norway and places like that. United Kingdom.
And they brag
is 80,
about it.
Brag about it. We don't
Yeah.
have any Down syndrome. And so it's interesting because there's never been more resources, but people have never been more afraid to welcome a challenging circumstance into the world.
And we do it in an atmosphere where we're eating and it's conversation. I'm not lecturing him and he gets to ask questions. Why? I don't want him to get information about this stuff from some YouTuber or from social media influencer. I want him to hear it from his father.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
And after we talk, we go see Thor, the Avengers, because we're men.
And the other thing that happened was one day I was walking across the campus and I just wasn't sure about the engineering thing and really direction. And it just suddenly occurred to me, and it's crazy that I didn't know this already, but God has a plan. If he made me, if he loves me, he's given me some talents, he wants me to do something with it. And all I have to do is surrender to him and pray, and he'll guide me. And in actually that moment, I committed my life to Christ. And to me, it was just totally logical. You'd be stupid to do anything but God's plan. And I already had multiple proofs that my plans were not very good. So from then on, it was like my life changed from black and white to color. Everything had meaning. Every encounter, every challenge, every sickness, every person I met. And at that moment, I had no idea I was going to be called to the priesthood.
But what brought my daughter hope wasn't in the stride of my walking, was in the fight to get up, the fight to walk. And I think my message would be, especially to the guys that are listening, people are watching, but what they're watching is not so much that you've got it together, but that you're fighting to get it together, that you're fighting to get up, right? It's the Christ fallen 3 times and he gets up 3 times. They want to see you fall, but they want to see you with the grit and the grind of trying to get it back together and get up. And that's what gives our families hope. And that's what gave my daughter hope, was that she could see me fighting. And when she saw me fighting, she knew it was going to be okay.
So like when we breathe, like profoundly inhale, you kind of like raise your chest, your rib cage expands. When you exhale, that collapses, which is like easy to do when your arms are low, because those intercostal muscles relax. But when you don't have the freedom to move your arms as you wish because somebody pinned them high, like with nails onto a cross, all you can do is the next best thing, which is to press down in the nail in your feet. Pull and twist on nails that are going through the metacarpals where there's the ulnar nerve and the median nerve that pass there. And you have to twist. Like we have a bifurcation pattern in the wrist that means that he's not just staying still and just like rising straight up, but a square cross section of this nail is now grating against that. We have in World War II, there were soldiers that didn't have morphine when their median nerve was exposed and preferred to commit suicide than to endure this pain. And Christ is there for 4.5 hours breathing in this way. And we know this because all the blood that's trickled down the forearm is likewise dividing again and again. It seems he's in an inferior position, and he's in then a higher position, up and down, and this just to breathe. For me, the point that really is driven home is the words then that he speaks. It's like, if that's what it takes to utter a breath, like just to get air out, what is it to pray? And I mean, it just gives a whole new insight into the heart of Christ, the love of Christ, what drives him, that he should be speaking to his Father in this way. Father, and I love this little detail. In the Greek, it says, he was saying, Father, forgive them. Not he said, in like a one-time thing, but maybe that was a refrain that he came back to again and again, Father, forgive them.
How absurd.
Such a ridiculous. It was like so serious for 29 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
No.
was
In a very,
awesome.
very good way. No, we need more of that.
All right, and for the rest of you, we shall
See you in the Eucharist.
Yum, yum. Love ya. Amen.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to join us at our undersized table, subscribe to the video version of the show on YouTube by typing @ that's the symbol @, so shift and 2 on your keyboard, @ the _ Beatitudes on YouTube. We'll see you there.